Flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, I wish to announce that the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. Notices announcing the date, time, and place for this meeting were sent to all concerned individuals, associations, and sent to Union County Local Source in accordance with Chapter 231 of Public Law 1975. For the roll call, Mr. Mahecha? Here. Ms. Justice? Here. Mr. Hanley? Here. Mr. Gunderson? Here. Mr. Cho? Here. Vice President Kelly?
Here.
President Cohen?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thanks very much, and we're going to get started tonight with a K-5 STEAM presentation led by Kristen Schumann.
I invite the board to take a seat in the audience. Good evening. It's certainly not normal to have on the lighter side of presentation and reports for our board meetings. So when we do, we like to take advantage. And this is an excellent opportunity to have some of our very own students and teachers represent one of our most effective and successful programs. And when I look at that slide, it's hard to believe it's a 5-year update. Kristen Schumann is our STEAM teacher over at Jefferson Elementary School. And she was our original STEAM teacher when we did not have STEAM across the elementary spectrum. So she is now our grades 1 to 5 STEAM coordinator, and she oversees all of the elementary STEAM programs that we've implemented. And I have to tell you, from year 1 of this initiative and investing in our future with our STEAM initiative, when we open up these STEAM labs in our elementary schools, a huge, huge hit, evidenced by what our children are going to share with us today, and they still love it every day. It's many, many, many students' favorite class. So I'm here to welcome Harris, 5th grader from Jefferson Elementary School, and Iris, his sister, 3rd grader from Jefferson Elementary School. But we'll start with Kristen Schumann, STEAM coordinator for the district. Thank you, Kristen.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, so this is a 5-year update on the STEAM program, and I don't have to introduce myself, so thank you very much. So first of all, what is STEAM? STEAM is an acronym. It stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. So I tell the students that I teach them science, I teach them technology, I teach them engineering. Nobody really wants me to teach them art, so I do not teach art. But we use our art and math skills in STEAM because STEAM is a hands-on, inquiry-based learning that connects all of these subjects together, and we do real-world problem solving. So we always give the students something that they can connect to in real life and solve problems using all of these skills from all these different subjects. And because of that, it really gives the students some 21st century skills of creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking that they will use in careers that they will have in the future, and probably careers that haven't even been invented or created yet. So this is just a quick program overview. As we just said, the elementary program started 5 years ago. It was launched at Jefferson, and now it is, we have dedicated STEAM labs in every elementary school, grades 1 to 5. This year we were very excited. We also launched it in the primary centers. I teach the primary center students STEAM, and they learn the engineering design process and also are introduced to coding and robotics. The program covers the science standards, the critical thinking standards, especially career readiness and design thinking, and all of the robotics and coding standards. Oh, and this is a picture I just want to point out. This was a collaboration actually with the high school. The high school tech ed class made ramps for each elementary school, and then the 5th graders designed cars with different materials. Some were 3D printed, some were found in our classroom, and they raced them, and it was very, very fun, and those boards are very, very huge, but really nice of them to do that for us. This is the structure of the STEAM program. So we have 4 units that we do throughout the year. The first one is a robotics and coding unit. Each grade learns a new robotics and coding skill each year, and then after we teach it, we use that robotics and coding tool throughout the year in their science lessons. And the Unit 2 and Unit 3 are science units with design challenges associated with them. So for example, Iris is in STEAM right now, and I see her class for 3 weeks at a time during that unit. She's doing motion and stability. The first 2 weeks we do experiments and lessons associated with motion and stability, and then you get a little sneak peek because we haven't done it yet, but her design challenge the last week is going to be creating a huge marble run based off of what she learned. So forces, gravity, potential and kinetic energy, she puts all of that all together with her group and makes this big project connected to what she learned. Same thing with Unit 3, and then Unit 4 is an end of the year dedicated design challenge that really focuses on following the design process. So the big ramp race car one that you saw, that is an example of the 5th grade end of the year project. This is the engineering design process that we teach the students. This is the same process that real engineers use and also the middle school and high school use as well. So we start the language in 1st through 5th, and then that carries on through middle school and high school, and we've collaborated with the middle school teachers to make sure that this language is cohesive between all of the grades, so when they go to those specialized classes in middle and high school, they know this. So when students are faced with a problem, they go through the steps, where they ask the big question, imagine, brainstorming solutions, planning, creating, the most important probably test and improve, which they could go back and forth between that cycle bunch of times, and that's where we really focus on having a growth mindset. It's okay if you make mistakes, it's okay if you fail, you go back, try again, keep trying until you get what you want. And then they present, which again, we focus a lot on the process when we talk about presenting. It is great that you have a final product, but it's more about the process than what the final product is. And then these are just some examples of some of a very small very small subsect of what we do. So these are examples of a couple of experiments that we have done in STEAM. In 2nd grade, they do a plant growth experiment where each group gets a plant and they have to give the plant different water, so salt water, tap water, bottled water, rainwater, and they have to record their observations over time of what happens. And they have to measure it. We talk about controls and variables, even in 2nd grade, and it's a really fun experiment. 5th grade, Harris just did this one. We learn about chemical reactions, and they do a mystery substance lab where they test different powdery substances with chemicals and see what the reaction is and try to figure out which chemical was used or which substance was used in a mystery. 3rd grade, that is an example of the marble run that I was talking about before, and you can see that was one from last year that the girls are doing in that video. In 4th grade, we do a soundproof box challenge where they learn about sound, and then they create a box that can hold as much sound as possible inside, and we measure that with a decibel reader, and they love competing with each other to see whose box can not emit the least amount of sound. And then in 1st grade, we do a build a nest challenge where they learn about biomimicry, and we kind of do a little bit of a reverse biomimicry, and they have to create a nest for an egg that's dropped at different heights and try not to let it crack. It is a real egg, and it does get messy, but that's what STEAM's about. So I just talked a lot about all the science and experiments and everything that they learn with technology, but STEAM also is about preparing them for the future and giving them these really important skills: critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, and problem solving. Students, every single time they come into STEAM, work in groups, and they have to learn how to listen, to advocate for themselves, to compromise when there's a problem that arises. It encourages that out-of-the-box thinking. We give them those real-world problems, and they have to think creatively about how they're going to solve that, and their first idea might not work, and their second idea might not work, and they have to keep trying until it's what they want it to be, and that, again, promotes a growth mindset. Like I said, we try to do a lot of real-world challenges so that it connects to what their lives are like outside of school, and that is especially seen this week. We're celebrating STEAM Career Week, which was an initiative that we started last year where we invite community members and parents into the classroom to talk about their STEAM career. So that's been happening all week in all of the STEAM labs, and the students have gotten to see what maybe future careers they would like to have, and how it connects to what they're already learning in STEAM. And this is just some of the impact that we've seen since starting the program. There's a lot of high engagement in STEAM. When students don't have a STEAM unit, I am constantly asked, when do we get back to STEAM? When can we have STEAM again? I just feel like it's because we make it fun and relevant for the students. The dedicated lab time has been so important. I used to be a kindergarten, first grade, and fifth grade teacher, and anytime that I would try to do a science experiment in my classroom, it was so difficult because I didn't have the materials or the space or the time to prep it. So the students are getting way more authentic science lessons and experiments than they ever would have if it was in the classroom. The middle school science teachers have consistently been reporting to me that the students are more prepared coming to science in the middle school, which has been great to see. The NJSLA science scores have risen, which is great. Not the point of it, but it's amazing that that has been a positive result of it. Collaboration skills have been used in other places besides STEAM. In classrooms and at recess, teachers are seeing that students are able to communicate better with each other because they have practiced these skills in STEAM so much. And one of our district goals is talking about authentic learning, which is clearly a lot of what we do in STEAM. Which brings me to that at the beginning of the year, we were introduced to our new goals by our committee, and the one goal that really jumped out at me was goal number 4, which is to connect educational opportunities to real world through inquiry and project-based learning that develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And I thought, oh, that's STEAM. So I'm happy that the committee recognizes that that's super important for students, because I believe that too, and that's what STEAM was based all around, was this goal, even though that goal wasn't thought of yet when that happened. So I know you just listened to me talk all about the STEAM program, but like we said, it is amazing to listen to students talk about how much they love STEAM and how STEAM has impacted them. So I have Harris and Iris here. And Harris, I'm excited that a 5th grader can talk to you, because Harris has now experienced every year of STEAM, and that he's the 1st grade that has done that since it started 5 years ago. And when I was talking to Harris about this, I explained that to him, that before he came to Jefferson, there was no STEAM, and he said, I can't imagine school without STEAM. So Harris is going to share first, and then we'll hear from Iris.
Hi, my name is Harris, and I'm a 5th grade student at Jefferson Elementary School. STEAM is my favorite class because it's exciting, creative, and challenges me to think in new ways. We get to design and build projects, solve problems, and use our imagination to create something from our own ideas. We are able to push ourselves to think harder and do things we never thought we could. In STEAM, we work a lot in groups. I really enjoy working in groups because everybody brings different ideas when we plan. It's fun to hear what everyone else thinks and to figure out a solution to the problem together. STEAM has helped me learn to communicate better, share ideas, and listen to others. What makes STEAM different from all other subjects and classes is that it's hands-on. We are given challenges about real-world things and use the design process to solve them. We learn about different science topics and do a lot of experiments. We also do coding and robotics in each grade. When it's the start of a new STEAM unit, everyone in class is excited to go to STEAM. STEAM has also taught me to have a growth mindset and have grit. I've learned that mistakes are part of the process and it's important to keep on trying. I've used these skills in other classes too. In math, I was working on a really difficult long division problem that had way too many steps. It wasn't working at first, but I thought of STEAM and how we keep trying even if your first idea doesn't work, or your second, or your third, or however many times it takes. I did eventually figure it out because I knew to keep on going even though it was tough. One of my favorite STEAM projects was in first grade, Boxatex. Mrs. Schumann taught us the design process and allowed us to use our imagination to build something completely out of cardboard. Even though it was 4 years ago, I still remember how fun and exciting it was to work with our group through the design process. One of my other favorite projects was in 4th grade. We had to build boats that floated and held weight. My group had to test and improve at least 10 times until we figured out what the problem was. However, our boat was still able to hold the most weight. STEAM has taught me to think creatively, work collaboratively, and never give up. It's an important class because it helps students build skills that we can use in subjects and in life. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Iris, and I am a 3rd grader at Jefferson. I love STEAM because we get to learn new things that I never knew before. We also do a lot of fun experiments. One of my favorite experiments was in 2nd grade, when each group got a plant and had to water the plant with different kinds of water. My group had food coloring water, and our plants still grew, but the soil and roots turned red. Another group used salt water, and we learned you should never give a plant to salt water. One of my favorite science lessons was when we learned about pollination in 2nd grade. We had to build fun structures to move pollen from a flower to another. It was so much fun. In STEAM, we also learn how to work in groups. I've learned it's important to listen to everybody's ideas and compromise so we can make our projects even better. I really love STEAM because it makes learning fun.
Well, thank you so much for listening to our presentation tonight. I have been teaching in the district for 12 years and I've taught lots of different grades, as I said before, but the last 5 years teaching STEAM has been the best 5 years of my educational career. It's been amazing to see it grow from where it started, and I can't wait to see where it continues to grow. But most importantly, it's been amazing to see how the students have responded to it and how much they love it too. Thank you to the board for your continued support, Heather and Scott and everybody else in administration. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Schumann. Thank you, Harris and Iris. That was outstanding. Well done. As the board is taking their seats, does the board have any questions for Ms. Schumann or Harris or Iris?
I have one. On the plant experiment, what did you pour on the plant that made it grow the best? Do you remember what you might have used? Was there anything specific? Tap water? Tap water. That makes good sense. All right, thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
So I'd like to just start by saying a good evening to everyone and thanking Harris and Iris and Ms. Schumann for that fabulous presentation. It's really great to see our students getting these skills that are going to serve them well into their adult years, both in my job, both that kind of iterative process of testing and then improving is a very, very important one, as well as working in groups and listening to everyone's ideas and learning how to incorporate those ideas into a solution. So it's really exciting to see our kids learning those skills in elementary school and really reinforcing them over and over again. So thank you. Since our last meeting, Vice President Kelly and I met with parents for a coffee and conversation at Franklin School. And I want to begin tonight by expressing our gratitude for how open and constructive that discussion was. Parents raised a wide range of topics, including lunch accounts and food options, PSAT logistics and fees, curriculum transparencies, including math and STEAM across K through 12, much like the presentation that we saw tonight, medical illness policies, and communication practices. Several key themes emerged. Families want clearer, earlier communication around budget-related changes that affect students directly. They also expressed concern around fees in our lunch payment system and a desire for more consistent access to information about student purchases. On that point, Mr. Jess shared that families can avoid transaction fees by bringing a check directly to their child's school, and then you won't have to pay any fees if that is something that you're looking to do. And also, parents can view their child's food purchases at any time through Pay Schools. In that app, there's a tab for reports where you can select patron activity. And that takes you to a screen where you can enter a date range and then review your child's purchases for that period. So thank you, Mr. Jess, for that information. We also heard some specific actionable ideas from parents, such as adding water refill stations in the middle school, learning more about technology oversight tools, and developing parent-friendly presentations for students transitioning from middle to high school around college readiness and testing. There was also strong praise for our counselors and our teachers, the human side of the district, which parents truly and deeply trust. So as a board, I just want you to know that we take parent feedback very seriously, and these are the kinds of insights that strengthen our decision making. Ultimately, this kind of dialogue helps us sharpen our district's excellence, keeping us grounded in integrity and guided by respect, responsibility, and teamwork. We will be having another session after the first of the year, this time in the evening, to make it easier for those who can't attend a morning session. And my thanks to all the parents who joined us for fostering such a candid conversation. These conversations help us live our mission to prepare all students to thrive in an evolving world. And with that, I pass it over to the superintendent for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Cohn. All of our elementary schools hosted Halloween parades on October 31st. I know it's always a special event where parents and families get to cheer on their students and staff as they parade around in their costumes. We want to thank all the parents and guests who have visited our elementary STEAM labs this week for STEAM Career Week. Our goal is to expose students to a wide range of career opportunities within the STEAM field, while also highlighting the diverse backgrounds of professionals in those fields. This effort highlights the strength and benefit of our partnership between our schools and community. As always, the happening in the schools at the primary centers, students recently honored veterans, both from Summit and around the world, by recognizing their service and sacrifice. Students are now preparing for an annual day of giving and an event that teaches young scholars how communities unite, support one another. At Brayton, students celebrated the end of the fall disc golf season by holding a doubles tournament at a park in Basking Ridge, and third graders enjoyed the field trip to the Environmental Educational Center as the culminating activity for a science unit on habitat and animal behavior. Franklin Elementary School is sharing examples of commitment to community service in our schools The Kindness Crew hosted a Halloween candy drive where students collected wrapped candy and donated to Grace in Summit, and also hosted its annual Turkey Trot food drive where students donated non-perishable food and hygiene items to Grace. Jefferson Elementary School, today 4th and 5th grade world language students at Jefferson welcomed special guest speaker Marisol Chalice, who was a decorated U.S. Army Reserve colonel and the first Latina National Guard Black Hawk helicopter pilot. She shared her story and fielded many questions from students who were very interested in learning about her career. In Lincoln Hubbard, students had a busy and exciting month filled with learning and community involvement. 4th and 5th graders began their Circus Minimus residency. Students also honored veterans by writing heartfelt thank you letters delivered to local American Legion halls. Academic highlights include 2nd graders discussing kindness and inclusion through Catherine Ashtashi's book, 1 and 1st graders diving into their small moments writing unit while sharpening their phonics skills. At Washington, the school focused on wellness, creativity, and cultural learning. Families joined a PTO-hosted wellness walk at Tatlock Track, featuring a cheer from the school's Spirit Squad. Students met author Sylvia Chen, who read her book, Tricky Chopsticks, and led a hands-on activity. The school celebrated Hispanic heritage through engaging lessons, enjoyed festive Halloween events, and participated in STEAM Career Week. At the middle school, students reflected on their outdoor education experience during Stokes Night, reconnecting through videos, songs, and stories. And the school also honored veterans with a special assembly featuring program and performances from 8th grade band, chamber orchestra, and bel canto choir, and tributes from the student council. I want to thank members of the Board of Education who attended and were able to see firsthand the talents of our students and their appreciation for our veterans. At the high school, in conjunction with Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Summit High School hosted a special presentation featuring Julie Myers, CEO of One Love Foundation and former UVA women's lacrosse head coach. Julie shared powerful insights on preventing relationships abuse and promoting healthy relationships. All students attended the assembly during the school day, and parent presentation was offered in the evening. In the arts, Summit Art Community has been thriving. Students visited New York City to explore the Whitney Museum and photography galleries, while theater and music students attended an inspiring performance of Ragtime at Lincoln Center. Elementary student artists also designed artwork for Thanksgiving dinner at Grace. SHS student musician Luka Milanikoff performed on alto saxophone in Atlantic City with the All-State Jazz Band last weekend and will perform again Friday night at NJPAC. The following SHS student vocalists were accepted into TCNJ Honors Festival Choir: Emily Vegter, Nita Vachel, Elise Cohen, Iker Contreras Mendina, Gabriel Lopez da Costa, Adam Daniel, and Ryan Shan. These students will be performing with talented musicians from over 50 different communities and will attend clinics and master classes conducted by the TCNJ music faculty and perform on the TCNJ's beautiful campus. Opening night on the theater for the high school's department, the performance of Shakespeare As You Like It is tonight at 7 p.m. Additional performances will be this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. And the middle school theater department is excited to present their fall production Witches in Salem next week. Performances are Friday 11/21 at 7 p.m. and Saturday 11/22 at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And finally, in the world of athletics, our boys varsity soccer and varsity football teams are in the sectional finals tomorrow. Boys soccer plays Cranford tomorrow here at home at 3 p.m. Varsity football travels to Westmora Central to play tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. And we had a wonderful National Signing Day occurred this week where 10 students signed their letter of intent to continue their academic and athletic careers in college. Mary Manahan, College of Holy Cross for lacrosse. Ryan Bancone, St. Joseph's University, lacrosse. Robbie Kivett, Fairfield, lacrosse. McKenna Welsh, Taylor University, volleyball. Joan Conniff, Providence College, lacrosse. Emma Busam, Arizona University, lacrosse. Francesca Arcella, Colgate University, lacrosse. Sarah Scallon, University of Vermont, lacrosse. Audrey Kerrigan, Lafayette College, cross country, track and field. And Jake Reimhold, Sacred Heart University for lacrosse. And that concludes my report for today, Madam President.
Mike.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, battery. Thank you. Thank you so much, Superintendent Huff. We need a motion on item 6, A and B, the superintendent's recommendations for suspensions and for HIB investigations. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion?
Mr. Mahecha? Yes. Ms. Justice? Yes. Mr. Hanley? Yes. Mr. Gunderson? Yes. Mr. Cho? Yes. Vice President Kelly?
Yes.
President Cohen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next up, we have the Student Board Representative Report.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here again. So to start, our fall play is taking place this weekend. Everyone has been working super hard to prepare, and the cast and crew have put in countless hours, so we're really looking forward to this great turnout and performance. In athletics, there's been a lot of excitement. The boys soccer team has had a big game on Tuesday. They won 3-0 against Colonia, so they're on their way to the section finals tomorrow. Talking about section finals, our football team is heading there this weekend, and we wish them the best of luck. The cross-country team is also having a great season. Ella Ryan and Nico Vandoni both qualified for the League of Champions meet, so they will be competing on Saturday. We've also wrapped up several other fall sports seasons, including field hockey, girls soccer, and gymnastics. There's definitely a lot to be proud of, and it's a great time to be a Hilltopper. Academically, we just finished the first quarter and began the second on Monday. Students are also participating in field testing for a new technology of NJSLA Wednesday through Friday this week. We've also recently celebrated Veterans Day. A student performed a beautiful song in the hallway during lunch to honor our veterans, and Ms. Grimaldi gave an amazing speech in the morning to remember the importance of our community and the people that fought for our country. Student Council recently hosted our annual Halloween assembly, which was a huge success. Sports teams participated in a short choreographed dance competition that was judged by teachers. The event was full of school spirit, creativity, and a lot of laughter, and in the end, the gymnastics team took home the win. Overall, it's been super busy but exciting at the high school. It's been full of school spirit, success, and just enough homework to keep us all humble. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you'd like, you're excused. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you all.
Are there any additions or revisions to the agenda?
Yes, Madam President, there are two. The first is an addition under Finance. It's the approval of the settlement agreement between the Bennett Company, Inc. and Summit Board of Education. The second is a removal under Personnel. We are removing item R.
Thank you very much. Next up is committee reports, beginning with Education and Student Activity Services Committee.
The Education and Student Activities and Services Committee met on November 10th at 12 noon for 1 hour. The committee members in attendance were Superintendent Scott Huff, Director of Curriculum Heather Rocco, board members Melanie Cohn, Walida Justice, and myself. The first item under discussion was the Genesis Student Records and Grades Program. The administration is reviewing the policy on gradebook access during the school day and week. Second item is the K through 12 Holocaust curriculum. Staff is doing a review of our curriculum across K through 12 on the Holocaust to confirm compliance with state curriculum requirements. Some adjustments were noted for grades 4 and 5 materials. Most recently, last week, November 4th, was a professional development session for the district. The elementary teachers and instructional aides had a session on AI. Middle school staff on training for the ongoing NJSLA adaptive field tests, improving student discussions, and training on department-based vertical articulation for grades 6 through 12. For the high school staff, they had training also for the upcoming NJSLA adaptive field tests, a session on communicating with families, and a department-based vertical articulation for grades 6 through 12, which is really related to the course sequencing as kids progress through the middle school and high school. Based on the comments, next item is class size. Based on comments from the October's board meeting from parents expressing their concern around class sizes at Brayton Elementary for 2nd and 3rd grade, the committee requests the administration to review what the numbers are for our peer school districts, status at the other elementary schools in Summit, and what has been the class size ranges historically. Discuss what could be done to mitigate the concerns expressed by the parents. Superintendent Huff to follow up and work with Brayton staff on potential next steps. Next item was the athletic update for the high school and middle school. Athletic Director Allison Flockhart provided an update on participation and highlights for the fall season. There are a total of 604 total fall athletes at both the middle school and Summit High School, with football, soccer, and cross-country having the largest number of students participating. At the high school level, there are 30 varsity sports, including cheerleading, and 6 at the middle school, and over a dozen more JV and freshman teams are at the high school also. And these numbers do not include our Unified Sports Program, which has been expanded the past few years. And as noted by Superintendent Huff, November 12th was National Signing Day, and as always, a number of our summer high school seniors will formalize their plans to continue in their sports in college. In September, also had a formal media day for fall sports with both team and individual pictures with a professional photographer. And the last item noted was the K through 5 STEAM presentation that was presented by Kristen Schumann. The no items for board action, and the next meeting will be December 11th at 12 noon. Any questions for board members? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cho. Next is the Operations Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee met this past Monday, November 10th at 2 p.m. for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Attending the meeting included our superintendent, our business administrator, the assistant business administrator, as well as Eileen Kelly and myself. And unfortunately, one of our esteemed board members had a work conflict and was unable to attend, Mr. Mahecha. The items discussed on the month's agenda include the following. Agenda item number 1, which was the primary bulk of the meeting, was a presentation made by our district's auditors recapping the findings of their annual review of the district's finances for the fiscal 24-25 school budget that, of course, closed in June of 2025. Most importantly to all of us on the board here and the administration, after the extensive audit over the period of a couple weeks, the auditors did share their findings with one recommendation for action, and that was the following. When reviewing student activities accounts, and I believe this was related to Flash in particular, SHS did not deposit all the collections within 48 hours of receipt. It was recommended that SHS communicate the policies and procedures to ensure all collections are deposited within a 48-hour window and could be achieved through procedures such as having students or parents pay through an online portal. So with that said, first, I think we should congratulate the administration, the superintendent, and particularly the business office for, again, a very fine and clean audit. So thank you. Secondly, I would add, and this was not in my minutes, but I think that if individual board members would review that information throughout regarding my notes on the audit, if you still feel there's a need for a presentation, a formal presentation here at the board meeting, please speak with either the Operations Committee or Superintendent Hoff, and we can arrange for that, because we had that as an open question. The remainder of the audit discussion was focused on the auditor's analysis of the financials, and the committee and the auditors had a very detailed discussion of the various reserve funds, their purposes, our current level of reserves, and what the auditors see in comparable districts as best practices in their experience, what they measure as prudent levels of reserves or in each specific category for a district and school budget of our size. The auditors informally opined that the district and our finances are being managed in a fiscally conservative manner. We are at or close to very prudent reserve balances in all categories in their view. They commended the administration and district for the sound fiscal policy, budgeting procedures, overall budget management, and current fiscal positions. For the public's information, as well as fellow board members, our reserve balances as of June 30th, 2025 are the following. The capital reserve finished at $4.324 million, down only approximately $175,000. The maintenance reserve was $1.218 million, down only $77,000. And the food service enterprise fund was $682,000 and some change, up approximately $61,000. Our current year excess surplus is $2.5 million versus $2.483 million the year prior. Excuse me. Lastly, the current net pension liabilities of the district are now $15.1 million, down from $16.5 million the prior year. When asked the hypothetical question, should something unexpected happen and the state of New Jersey unfortunately go bankrupt, do the pension liabilities potentially fall back on the city of Summit in some way, since we are the ones hiring and employing the staff at local levels and creating the liability in the first place. The auditor's answer was that that's a great question, and we simply don't know how that would be resolved, but potentially some or all of it could. We're simply not sure. So I think that we raise that just to simply create an awareness. It's prudent that I think all in the community are aware that the pensions exist as they relates to the district employment and staff. Finally, the auditors advised us that the final audit report will be held up, unusually so, by the federal government shutdown, where the district typically receives the official report in December. This year it is possibly to be as late as March. So it has nothing to do with our district, it's statewide. Agenda item number 2, the committee received an update on the bonded projects, and most importantly there, the district has successfully resolved the issues with its contractor on the LCJ SMS remaining project work. The contractor essentially is returning to work to complete the project in its entirety with the same deliverables, the same expenses, and with no other financial penalties or notable added expenses to the district. So the Wellness Center work and other final project initiatives will now be resumed. Agenda item number 3, the committee reviewed and discussed the pre-K tuition program and potential rates charged by the district for the new upcoming year. Additional information was requested, so no final decision or recommendation was reached, and the topic was tabled until the next meeting when the additional info requested can be presented and reviewed. Agenda item number 4, following discussions by the Negotiations and Personnel Committee, the Operations Committee was then asked to review and approve the administration's request to pursue establishing a stipend for the new facilities foreman role. The Operations Committee reviewed and unanimously recommends full board approval of this stipend. Item number 5, 2 of the district's 4 school buses have reached their end of life and need replacement. The committee discussed and reviewed the considerations regarding the purchasing of electric power versus gas school buses. The committee began its review of the analysis provided by the business office regarding those decisions, but we agreed to review further offline and to table and reschedule the agenda item for the purposes of further review and discussion at a future meeting so that a decision can be made and purchases completed within this school year. Other items reviewed and discussed by the committee but with no formal action taken included a review of the monthly food service P&L results. The operating income generated was positive and in line with expectations. An updated budget calendar for the upcoming budget process was reviewed, and the committee was presented a consolidated maintenance plan by the business office. So there, in summary, the committee's recommendation for full action tonight is that we do unanimously recommend the board approval moving forward to establish the stipend for the facilities foreman role. And lastly, we did run out of time to review several items in more detail, including, but most notably, the look-back review of the past 4 years of budget trends in key categories. Therefore, we decided another 1-hour meeting would be scheduled to cover these items, and prior to the next regularly scheduled monthly Operations Committee meeting that is going to be held December 10th at noon. The interim 1-hour meeting date and time have yet to be established, so they are TBD. With that, I will conclude my remarks, see if any of my fellow committee members had anything to add.
Just one point as well for our additional meeting, because we ran out. An hour and 45 is not long enough for this ops committee. I do want to also bring in the feedback from the coffee with the board specific to food service and menus. So just want the public to know we will be talking about those things as well in an upcoming meeting.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, just a comment. First, I do want to commend the administration and business office for the clean audit report. I think that's really awesome. And I also wanted to ask if the preliminary draft audit report and the annual comprehensive financial report could be sent to each one of the board members.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I'd like to comment for the board that the action item of approving the maintenance foreman was pulled, as Derek just mentioned in the beginning. We will have it on next month's agenda. There were some language cleanups that we needed to take place with the MOA with SEA.
Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Hanley. Policy Committee is up next.
Thanks, Madam President. The Policy Committee met on Wednesday, October 29th for 35 minutes. Committee members in attendance from the administration, Superintendent Scott Huff, Rob Gardella, and Kathleen Murphy. Board members in attendance, Mark Gunderson, Rick Hanley, and myself. The committee discussed several policy-related topics, and the policies discussed were the following. Policy 0142.1, nepotism. Policy 0142.1 is an internal rewrite to an existing policy after a review. The review has shown that Summit's current nepotism policy is more restrictive than our peer districts and limits our ability to hire the best candidates in an already challenging labor market. It is recommended that the policy language should be changed to align with Strauss Esme's recommendations as well as our peer district's nepotism policies. Policy 0142.1A, nepotism, abolish. It is recommended that policy 01421A should be abolished as it would no longer be needed based on our recommended policy 0142.1 revision. Regulation 8630, emergency school bus procedures. Regulation 8630 is an internal revision that requires language changes. This includes language cleanups that have been updated and/or incorporated into this revised policy and regulation. Committee recommendations, first reading of policy 0142.1 and 0142.1A and regulation 8630. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, December 10th at 9:30 in the district office boardroom. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Justice. Communications Committee, Mr. Mahecha.
Thank you. The Communications Committee met on November 11th for 54 minutes. Members in attendance were board members Mark Gunderson, Ms. Eileen Kelly, Superintendent Scott Huff, and Cabinet member Ms. Lorraine Dickinson, and myself. We heard about the coffee and conversations. You got some great details, some from the President. Board President Ms. Melanie Cohen and Vice President Ms. Eileen Kelly attended a coffee and conversation session held at Franklin School on October 24th. Turnout was good, and there was high engagement. Various topics were discussed, questions answered, and suggestions captured for follow-up. More sessions will be scheduled as feedback has been very positive. An update on the Brayton principal search. Superintendent Huff and Director of HR, Mr. Gardella, met with parents and staff, focus groups, and distributed surveys to collect stakeholder input and key qualities desired. The Brayton principal search is in process. Applications were received and screened. Interviews are taking place, and finalists will be recommended to meet with Superintendent Huff, with a decision targeted at being made by the December board meeting. There was a communication regarding food assistance. Communications were sent to provide resources and links to obtaining essential food supplies for those in need. The district made a community pledge of 100 bags of hope for Grace's Food Pantry and received over 250 donations in a week. The winter weather protocol communication was made, the annual message that was sent sharing the decision process to determine delays and closures. There are no committee recommendations at this time, and the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 9th at 12 p.m. Are there any questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mahecha. The Negotiations and Personnel Committee met on Thursday, October the 30th from 9 to 10 a.m. approximately. In attendance was Mr. Hanley, Vice President Kelly, myself, Superintendent Huff, and Mr. Gardella to discuss confidential personnel matters. Are there any liaison reports? Okay. None being heard, we are up to item 10, public comment.
Thank you, Madam President. Anyone wishing to speak shall first seek recognition by the presiding officer. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address in a clear, audible tone for the record. Please direct all comments to the board president and not an individual member of the board. And please remember to conduct yourself with decorum and respect when speaking and addressing the board. Unless additional time is granted by the board president, please be respectful and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. In addition, please note that this portion of the meeting is for public comment and not meant to be a back and forth. Upon closure of public comment, information that is available to answer questions will be provided. If information is not readily available, the question will be answered by the superintendent or his designee as soon as the information is readily available. Thank you.
First, public comment on items on the agenda. None being heard. public comments on items not on the agenda? So none being heard, we can close public comment. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Item 11, approval of board minutes. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Item 12, curriculum, instruction, and program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Mahecha?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Mr. Gunderson?
Yes.
Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Vice President Kelly?
Yes.
President Cohen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 13, finance, items A through M with the changes noted by Mr. Just earlier. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to clarify, Mr. Jess, I'm sorry, could you repeat the agenda?
Sure, under finance, we're adding item N, approval of settlement agreement between the Bennett Company and the Summit Board of Education.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Mahecha?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Mr. Gunderson?
Yes.
Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Vice President Kelly?
Yes.
President Cohen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 14, school board operations, items A through C. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Mahecha?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Mr. Gunderson?
Yes.
Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Vice President Kelly?
Yes.
President Cohen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
15, items A through S with the change discussed earlier by Mr. Jess. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion?
Mr. Mahecha?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Mr. Gunderson?
Yes.
Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Vice President Kelly?
Yes.
President Cohen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
16, first reading of policies as noted by the policy committee. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Mahecha?
Yes.
Ms. Justice?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Mr. Gunderson?
Yes.
Mr. Cho?
Yes.
Vice President Kelly?
Yes.
President Cohen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I do not believe there's any need for executive session tonight, so we are going to have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion?
I just wanted, before we end the meeting, if it's okay, I wanted to give the board a brief overview, and I've been able to speak to a couple people as well as Superintendent Scott Huff about an event I attended at New Providence High School, which was a conversation by a group called Mindful Generation. And I think it's really pertinent because we recently updated our device policy across the district, and in New Providence as well, they have basically a like-to-like policy. But this event was, I think, really, I would say, a great symbol of partnership between the school, the parents, and then the city. The night was a conversation around screen time, delaying screens for children, not just in the school, but how we operate as parents. The superintendent kicked off the night. The assistant superintendent was there, about half a dozen teachers. The school nurse spoke about just how she's now more inundated with mental health issues. And so I really wanted to highlight that I think it's a great event that we could potentially look at. If the Ed Committee could find a little bit more out about that event, I'm happy to share more details. I know we do our own wellness symposium, and I think that it has a similar feel, but there's a lot more partners that were involved here. And again, just this is a hot topic, and it's a really critical one. I have little ones that will sort of endure all the really shocking, information that's just coming out about devices, and particularly smartphones, and the impact on anxiety, depression, and unfortunately suicide. So I think we've done a great job with our policy, and if the Ed Committee could also look at this event for something to potentially kind of explore and mimic, that would be great. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, comments, let me know.
Thank you, Vice President Kelly.
Thank you. I just have two quick things. One is I just wanted to mention the great opportunity we had to attend the Veterans Assembly at the middle school. It was really well put together, very touching, and we honored many of our veterans, including, thank you for your service, Mr. Cho here with us, Mr. Cho, and it was really special, and it was really great to see kids witnessing, you know, what a privilege we have to have the freedom that we enjoy in this country, thanks to the great veterans and those that are in service and sacrifice for us. And I think it also serves as an example to kids as, you know, how important that is, and maybe I'm sure it had an influence on them as they continue their education here in Summit. And then the second thing, so thank you for that, and I heard of many great celebrations across the district, and I really think that that's really an incredibly positive thing to do, so thank you for having that. Secondly, I had a great opportunity today to have a tour at Jefferson School, and thanks to Mr. Huff for enabling it, and Principal Dan Haley, who hosted us, and we got to walk around and see the kids engaging with the teachers, and you could just really see and sense, you know, the positive environment, the engagement, the caring. You know, those intangibles you have to be there to witness. Now, my kids all went through Jefferson, and it was that way when I was there, but it was really great to see it still in motion, strong, and I really appreciated that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and thank, again, Mr. Superintendent Huff and Principal Healy for allowing me to be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Myacha. Anything else? Any other discussion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are adjourned at 6:55. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.